Hi, this is Alex Kantrowitz. I'm the host of Big Technology Podcast, a longtime reporter and an on-air contributor to CNBC. And if you're like me, you're trying to figure out how artificial intelligence is changing the business world and our lives. So each week on Big Technology, I bring on key actors from companies building AI tech and outsiders trying to influence it, asking where this is all going. They come from places like NVIDIA, Microsoft, Amazon, and plenty more. So if you want to be smart with your wallet, your career choices, in meetings with your colleagues, and at dinner parties, listen to Big Technology Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Alicia.
And I'm Stacy.
And we make Trashy Divorces, everybody's favorite good podcast about bad relationships.
Looking for something true crimey without the gore or the body count?
We've been churning out funny, feisty, feminist episodes since 2019. So if you're looking to put some scandalous stories told well into your ears this summer, check out Trashy Divorces wherever you listen to podcasts.
Trust us, we've covered someone you love.
Or someone you love to hate.
Hey, I'm a medium, and this podcast is for those who wish to understand the wonderful world of spirit. Where do we go when we die? I'll share stories of mine as a medium and other mediums in our journeys, plus you will hear real-life client readings so that you can know without any doubt that your loved ones in spirit are around you all the time. I'm Jen, and this is the Singing Medium Podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to the Singing Medium Podcast. You guys are awesome for sticking around, and you keep coming back. And I noticed that you guys are really excited when I talk about the psychic predictions. I feel like that's something that's very helpful to you guys. It's exciting to see, like, it's kind of like a story. See if the story unfolds and how it's going to unfold, and get a glimpse kind of into the possible future timelines, because as you guys know, I've mentioned before, is that a lot of these things that I predict at a certain time can change. Based upon our energy, if we sit in big meditation and, send love to the convoy and what's happening with our government and our planet, a lot of things can affect the wavelength or the manifestation or the arrival of these predictions. So I need you to understand that they're not always set in stone, and that's a good thing, because that means we have power, and power is really important to remember, that we do all have power within us, and some of us are not quite aware of that power. But I'm telling you, once you get there and you do the work and you sit with yourself and you sit in silent meditation and you have a focus and intent towards wanting to remember who you really are, that you're all psychic, that you're all mediums, that you're all light workers, that you're all here to do something special and effective and share your wisdom. And remember that wisdom is part of the process. So if you are working on your psychic gifts, I highly, highly recommend that you keep meditating. They will grow organically. And it's kind of like when you start a workout routine. And I'm not sure if I used this analogy before, but when you have a goal, say you want to get toned, like, or you want to lose 15 pounds, you can't just work out one time and then all of a sudden now you're ripped and you have the six pack. It has to be consistent, and you see the results over time. So say you've meditated for a whole year, and you might not realize that your psychic abilities or your mediumistic skills have grown organically without maybe intense training. And you got to pay attention to when that starts happening, because it will happen. There's no way you're going to sit for 1 year in meditation every single day and not have some change come about within you. And the best part about this is that it's organic, it's natural. So if you're meditating consistently, congratulations. It's just your soul has started to, reverberate inside of you and vibrate inside of you, and you're taking notice. And you know that the more you sit in silence, the more that you will remember all of this beautiful spiritual wisdom that you have inside of yourself, and that your psychic gifts are growing, and that you are psychic. And speaking of psychic, if you would love to work on your psychic abilities, please join me with 2 more spots. March 24th, I am offering a Spring Psychic Level 2 course. So I told you don't have to have any training before this. Anyone can join this class. Looking at my list today, there's 2 spots left. So I hope that you will join me. It's all online, so anyone in the world can join me. And speaking of around the world, I love that I have a client in Australia, and I love that yesterday I was reading for someone, And at the end, I just happened to say, "Oh, where are you from? Where did you find me?" And she's like, "Minnesota." I was like, "What? Minnesota?" That is so cool to me to know that, these spirit is reaching its big long fingers out into other countries and states so that people can sit down with people like me and activate their gifts and remember who they are and connect with their loved ones in spirit and maybe connect to their past lives. And all of these things are going to be covered in the psychic class. So if you're interested in any of these aspects of, the skills and abilities that you already have and you're curious of how to put those online stronger, I highly recommend you take this level 2. And I just now, also, if you're a medium, I got a spirit here. Hold on a second. I'm going to bring him through in a minute. That's for someone who is listening. But before I do that, there is beginner medium level 1 that starts March 22nd. And that is a Tuesday night from 6 to 7:30 for 8 weeks. And if you are being called to explore the spirit world, to get connected to your own loved ones in spirit, or you want to serve other people on a healing journey and a healing level, I also highly recommend that you see if you are a hell yes to beginner mediumship level 1. And that they're all available if you go on Instagram, elevate.hersoul. If you go to the link in the bio and Linktree, you can sign up for those there. So, okay, so here's something that I didn't expect to happen. I'm just going to pause for a second. So I've been working all day, and this is like 2:30 in the afternoon, and this is like prime nap time for me. And also I have not had my tea. But I did have a lot of beautiful readings today, so that makes me feel happy that I helped some people. So I have a man here. So listen to this carefully. It'll be for someone who's listening to the podcast. It's not going to be random. Nothing is random that Spirit says. So I have a gentleman here who had something wrong with his head. The right side of my head is hurting and a stomach ache. Okay. So it is a man around, I'm going to say 30s, 40s. I'm just going to bring him closer to me because he is, all of a sudden I'm in the closet and all of a sudden I was like, so I'm also a clairsentient medium, which means I feel their pain, and that's how they introduce themselves to me. Sometimes if I'm not actually activated in the spirit world, I haven't actually consciously said, okay, I'm in the spirit world now, sometimes they will creep up on me and get me at a surprise. So this man, he's about 30, 40, around there. He's a younger male, like what I would consider to be younger, because I'm 47, so younger than me. And he's something wrong with his head, but I kind of feel like he might have had a brain aneurysm. He wasn't feeling well the day that he passed. His stomach is hurting a lot. He does say the name Steve, but I don't believe that his name is Steve. He is saying to Steve, hey, this is someone that I know. He also may have had a stroke. I'm getting now my arm is numb. So the brain aneurysm, maybe the stroke before, and then the brain aneurysm, they're connected. Okay. He tells me that he had been on medication before he passed. Okay. Someone, he's very choked up. Someone found him. He was by himself in a house, and someone found him a couple hours after he had sort of, I think he was very faint or he passed. It was kind of hard to tell. Definite stroke though, because I can't feel my right arm at all. He looks like he would maybe enjoy the occasional beer. He would wear jeans and a t-shirt. Oh my gosh, my stomach is hurting a lot. So it's almost like my symptoms are like one thing, but then it's sort of warning me on something else. So not wanting to eat as well, kind of not feeling, sort of feeling off. It's kind of reminds me of like when I was going into labor with one of my kids. It was like, I felt so off that day, but I didn't actually know I was going to go into labor. So it's kind of like that if you're ever had kids and been through that experience. So the loudest name here is Steve, that he says. So his name actually might be Steve because he has said it twice now. Let me see. Something about June being very significant. So it feels like someone's birthday would be in June. It does not feel like he passed in June. The number 29 would be also very significant. So hopefully you're writing this down if this resonates with you. You'll know right away by the brain aneurysm and the stroke, because that's very rare for me to get a spirit who is in that condition. Brain aneurysms are not very common in this when I do readings. So that is him. I'll see if he has anything else he would like to add to distinguish him out from the crowd. He told me to tell you he's playing a song for you, and it's something about Neil Diamond or some kind of like 70s. And he said he saw you dancing to Eminem the other day, probably at the Super Bowl. So if that resonates with you at all, you can reach out to me. You can email me info@elevatehersoul.com, or you can DM me on Instagram, elevate.hersoul, and we'll figure out this belongs to you. But that's what he's giving me right now. You do have his clothes still, he says. He says you're hanging on to his clothes. So that's never happened before. Well, it's happened before when I'm trying to nap, but and I usually go post on Facebook, but Facebook seems to be a dying breed, so I'm not as active on there. If you're following me on the Singing Medium Facebook, head over to Instagram so that you can see more of what I do, because that's where my focus is. Okay, so the point we're here to do today is to share part 2 of the psychic reading. So if you don't know by now, I'm a psychic, and I receive predictions of the timeline and the future timeline for certain global experiences. And the one that I'm really tapped into right now is what's going on in the Canadian soil here with the trucker convoy and the chaos of our current government, the dismantling. And I want to tell you I'm going to tell you a story. Before I get into that, I want to tell you something that happened last night that is directly related on a spiritual level to what is happening. So when something happens in a physical manifestation in our 3-dimensional world, a lot of us who are very tuned in will feel into the spiritual or the energetic nature of behind the scenes. What is the cause of it? It's kind of like there's doctors and then we're the naturopaths. So we need to know we want to know the cause of it, and get to the root cause of the emotion of what's happening. So because every physical dis-ease or ailment has something to do with an emotion that is stuck and the energy is not moving. So we look at the energy behind what is happening. Okay. So especially for me, I'm highly tuned into the energy of what is happening in the 3-dimensional world. Now, what's happening actually is a spiritual war, okay? So the chaos that you're seeing in the parliament and the Canadian government, whatever quote-unquote side you're on, it is a spiritual war. So last night I went to bed and I'm like, can you show me what's really going on? I need to know what's really going on here. And so they showed me some visuals I wasn't super excited about. But Pat King, who is one of the demonstrators of the leaders of the convoy, who claims he's not a leader of the convoy, he actually had yellow eyes. So that's not good. And what they said the dark entities, what we talked about before in the previous podcast episodes, is there are dark entities who are manipulating or infiltrating this convoy and have gotten a hold of Pat King. And he has yellow eyes and is being sort of commanded by a spiritual war leader. So that would be, depending on what you believe in, this is what I know to be true, my own truth, is that is a spiritual war going on in space, and other planets are at war. And if, say, for example, you have had a reading before, you're like, oh, I am Mintonkan, or I am Lemurian, or I am from another planet, you'll know what I'm talking about. So sometimes on these energies, there's sometimes a war that goes on there energetically. Obviously, we can't see what's going on because it's in space, so we're not going to be able to see what's going on. We can tap into it. And so there has been dark entities that have decided from one side of the spiritual war that they were going to use the humans and have their own war. So one of my past predictions was Canada was going to declare war on its people. The government was going to declare war on its people. And that's what's happening right now, whether you believe that or not. That's literally the energetic thing that is happening right now to cause chaos. And so as above, so below, you've heard that, right? So in the universe, in the space, is a spiritual war going on, and it has to manifest down here as well. Okay, so that's what's going on. So he has demonic eyes. He also, I was told that JT is a reptilian. And did you notice his deputy prime minister squirming and acting very weird? So they showed me that was also, she has been infiltrated by a dark energy. And it sounds silly, but it's actually quite serious. And again, depending what you believe in, it might resonate with you, it might not, but this is the energy behind it. She actually has her human is sort of like noticing that there's something off inside of her and she's not being herself kind of thing. And there's kind of like an inner war going on with her. So her beingness is like sort of squirming in there. Okay. So, I can't remember. I didn't write it down. I was like, oh, I'll remember. You know how you're like, oh, I'll remember this in the morning and then you don't. But those are the two main things, is that there is reptilian energy inside the parliament. And to pay attention to Lightbound, I think his name is. I don't know his first name is, but he's a Liberal MP and his name is Lightbound. Pay attention to that guy. Pay attention to that guy, okay? So that's what's going on. There's a spiritual war going on, and that's why you see a lot of hate. We're not made of hate. So there's a lot of hate, and we're not made of hate. So this is the problem. This is what is coming up to be uncovered, to be discovered, for the spiritual awakening to happen, to realize that this is a spiritual war, and to see what's really going on behind the curtain. Okay? So, all right, that out of the way. So some of these are not fully in context. So some of them, sometimes when you tap into the spiritual realm or the psychic realm or the Akashic records, you won't be given all information because you're not allowed access to it, or maybe you're not at a certain level of vibration in that moment to actually garner that information or be given that information. So I'll go through my list here, and it's quite long actually. So if you go back and read the blog on elevatehersoul.com, there's a blog under About Me. If you click down there, and if you go into the blog, you can go back in the archives and you can read the last two blogs, or go all the way back if you want. It goes all the way back to March 2020 when I predicted New World Order, all these crazy things that I had no idea why they were telling me this. And you can do that and see what's going on so you can catch up. Okay, so the first one is there will be a new chairman of the board. So if you feel into that, there will be a new chairman of the board. One of my predictions was JT goes to prison. So there's a dissolvement. I don't know the word. Spirit uses very, very intelligent words that I don't understand. There's going to be an undoing in the parliament of some kind, okay? So there will be a new chairman of the board, which I feel like will be a new prime minister. I could be wrong, but I feel like as of right now, he's sinking himself almost on purpose or for some reason, and there's going to be a new chairman of the board, okay? For the Ottawa convoy, so just to reiterate too, with the convoy, in my previous predictions, I said I was tapping into the convoy. So that does not just mean Ottawa, it also means Windsor, it meant Coutts, it meant wherever, BC, where they all are, Australia, where they all are, wherever a convoy is happening, that's what I'm tapping into, okay? So at one point I wasn't specific enough to be like, okay, I just want the Ottawa convoy, but they gave me and that's what happens. You have to be very specific. So there will be tear gas. Now, we're seeing that, I think we saw that in Paris. However, I do feel like that's coming for Ottawa, okay? And this was 2 weeks ago I got this. So you're like, oh, of course that's going to happen now. But it has been building up. But this is something that I received 2 weeks ago. I've been holding on to this, okay? Something about gas as well. Another vision that I had, which is not on my list here, was a lot of EMS vehicles. So ambulances are going to be called in, fire trucks are going to be called in. And again, this was 2 weeks ago before all this was going down. Okay. The good song, I get songs, you know, I'm the singing medium. So I heard it's Independence Day. So we got to hang on to this. We got to hang on to this with all our might, is that I really believe that we're going to have Independence Day. So like by summertime, we will have all of our freedoms back. And I think this will be resolved by then, hopefully sooner. Okay. So I also did predict the Ottawa police chief will step down. So I had that a few days before I ended up posting, and then 5 minutes after I posted that in the blog, it happened. So it was almost like Spirit was like, hurry up and post this so people know that we told you this before, and to prepare them for what was going to happen. So that happened on my list. So a new one I haven't posted yet is Andrew Scheer will be interim leader. Now, if you Google Andrew Scheer, he is an MP. And I don't think in the logistics of the government, parliament rules and regulations and how things are actually in the democracy, I use that loosely now. I don't know how that's possible, because I think the deputy prime minister would step in if something happened to JT. So we'll keep that one on the shelf, but Andrew Scheer will be an interim leader of something. Okay. Here's an interesting one. Charles Schwab will pass. So Charles Schwab is a billionaire. I'm assuming he's probably in the World Economic Forum. If you Google that, you will see there's a plan actually, and this is not conspiracy theory, although this whole episode sounds like a conspiracy theory, guys. But it's not, okay? They're very closely related. So I think I've said before that the conspiracy theory is actually people who are psychic, who are tapping into the psychic realm, but they don't know it. And so people just say, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. But look at all the predictions. Look at all the conspiracy theories of the last 2 years. They have almost all come true. Okay, so Charles Schwab is a billionaire. I think he might be, I don't know for sure. You guys can Google that for me, but he's going to pass. And then someone messaged me and asked, did I mean Charles Schwab or Klaus Schwab? Those are pretty close. I don't know. I'm leaning towards more of Charles Schwab, but we'll see what happens. It could be Klaus, but I didn't get that. So yeah, so that guy's going to pass. I don't know the timeline for that. Now, with one of the convoys, I believe there will be a loud emergency siren air raid. So that's what I wrote down in my notes. So an air raid siren is going to go off. Now, this was a week ago. I typed this in my notes, and that's why I want to get this podcast out to you guys so you can catch it before it happens. But Spirit showed me like a really loud noise, and then so I wrote this a week ago in my notes, and then yesterday I saw a TikTok where they're going to bring in a sound machine like they did in Australia. So they did bring in a sound machine in Australia. And there's a rumor that's going to happen in Ottawa. And so today is Thursday. What's today? I don't even know what today is. February something. But it is the Thursday after Valentine's Day. So that's going to happen. Now, I had Coots will end in a standoff late this week. And I got that on this Monday of this week. Okay. Now, there was like the media was saying that they had all left, but I think they're still there. So one of my also predictions, if you go back, it says mass exodus. Now, the mass exodus prediction was meaning all the trucks are going to leave at one time. Okay. And I thought Coots had done that, but I don't think they have had their mass exodus. So that could be for Windsor too, right? Windsor, I think there was a mass exodus of all the trucks leaving. Then the next one was Coventry is going to be raided. So Coventry is one of their Ottawa truckers' headquarters, I think. And there'll be a raid. But the interesting thing, you can't see this because obviously it's a podcast, but there's an X and an O beside Coventry raid. X's and O's is hugs and kisses. So I don't know what that was about. And I know there's no randomness to what I post. So the Coventry raid XO, we're going to have to see what happens with that. Okay. So then they said the military is going to come at night. Now, here's the thing about the military. If you go back like a year ago, there is a post of me posting the military is going to come in. Now, what I didn't realize as a human being, Jen, did not know, is that the RCMP or I don't know what they're called, the squad, I don't know. They have uniforms that look like military. So when we were in Ottawa, we found a black Suburban with 4 guys in it who had looking military. To me, is like the camo, but it's like the Minecraft camo sitting in there. So that's kind of what I saw in the visual. Okay. But technically, if you go into the other convoys, there has been military, but I think I'm focused in on here. I know you're going to say, well, they said the military's not going to come, Jen. So if the military doesn't officially come, whatever the uniform is of those people with the machine guns in their hands, they're going to be there. And they were at Windsor. Okay. But a year ago I saw this and I had no understanding of what was coming. So it's almost like a forewarning kind of thing. I think that's kind of what the purpose of my predictions are for the past 2 years, was kind of like a forewarning, and not in a scary way, because I don't think I had many people who told me they were afraid, but most of the people said they were relieved or like prepared, and I helped them prepare. So it's like a forewarning kind of thing is what has been going on. And then they said there will be a shooting at nighttime. So, I mean, this is a week ago I got this, so it's starting to lead up to that. So, say what you want, but all right. So let me take a little water break here. Now, I'm deciding right now if I should tell you the rest or make a part 3, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. This is on a different page than my other notes. So all this week, I don't know what the heck kind of planetary craziness or like astrology events went on this week, but all I know is that I was highly psychic. Like, I'm already highly psychic, and that's not like an ego thing. I'm literally highly psychic. Like, I'm constantly seeing visions and getting information from the higher beings and from the spirit guides and the psychic realm. And plus I talk to dead people all the time. It's a lot. Okay. So sometimes it's very overwhelming, even for me, to receive so many things, and spirit's in charge. So if I'm like, whoa, that's too many things, and spirit thinks I can handle some more, they'll give me more. And the cool thing is, again, I told you before, if you want to get psychic, if you want to tap into this, you have to be quiet. So if you're always on your phone and you're always doing something and you're always on the go, there's no way you're going to get psychic stuff. Like, if you do, prove me wrong. I mean, you'll get a couple of things, but you won't get. Now, my spirit guides are like, Jen, go lie down on the couch so we can give you some more things. Most of the time I get it right before bed. Okay. I don't get psychic stuff in dreams, you might get them in dreams. So pay attention. You might be psychic if you have things in your dreams and then it happens the next day. You might be psychic if you can predict someone being pregnant and then they say they are. You're extra psychic if you can guess it's a boy or a girl. You might be psychic if you tapped into the Super Bowl and you guessed the Rams like I did. I didn't guess. Guess is the wrong word. I apologize. I predicted the Rams. Okay. Now, some people out there be like, well, you could just say that's who is going to win. No, I was worried, guys. I was worried. After I had a dance party with Eminem and Dr. Dre, I was worried because I wanted to be right. That's my thing. I have an ego issue. I like to be right. And that's something that I need to work on. And when you have something like that come up, you go, why do I have that? I don't want to learn more about why I want to be right. So I wanted to be right. I wanted the Rams to win. And I don't care about football. I care about Dr. Dre and I care about Eminem. I don't give a crap about football. But the way I got the information, if you participated in my little psychic exercise on Instagram of who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl, use your psychic skills, the way I got it was a song. So I got California. Man, I don't know the song, but it was like California over and over. This was one song in my head. It's probably a Dr. Dre song. So that's how I knew the Rams were going to win. And then when it was like when I can't remember the other team, the Bengals, when the Bengals, it's the Bengals. Oh my God, someone's going to punch me. They were winning. I was like, oh my God, I'm wrong. I'm so wrong about this. And then I sat down and Spirit's like, be quiet and listen to us. It's going to change in the last minute. And I'm like, okay, it's going to change. And my guys are like, it's going to change. It's okay. It's going to change. And I'm like, okay, I still don't believe you. Even though I'm like the most trusting psychic out there of like believing what I get. So it's interesting. You might be psychic if you got the Super Bowl, because if you didn't get the Super Bowl winner, doesn't mean you're not psychic. Okay. You're literally all psychic. Right. And so your job is to decide, do I want to grow this gift? Do I want to do what Jen's doing? I mean, you don't have to do it on my level, but to access these kind of things, you have to do a lot of work. You have to meditate. You have to raise your vibration. You have to stream appreciation like a Care Bear out of your heart chakra constantly 24/7 a day to be able to get higher, because all this information is higher than us, which is why when I get something, I get a very intelligent word. That's how I know it's coming from the universe or the psychic realm, because Spirit is way more intelligent than us. Way more intelligent. So that would make sense that I get really smart words like dissident and I forget what the other words, like mass exodus, like things that I don't talk. That's how you know it's coming from the higher realms. Okay, so pay attention to that. And then you got to figure out if you're clairaudient or you're clairvoyant and yada, yada, yada. And the best way to do that is take a class, get a mentor, meditate. Okay. Have the intention that you would like to do this. Raise your vibration. Be appreciative of what you have. So I think I'm going to hold on to these 8 because this is going to get too long. And then I won't be able to download it because the Soundtrap thing that I use is very picky and doesn't like it when it's an hour long. And then it takes me so long to download it. So I'm going to leave it short and then stay tuned for part 3, either in blog form or in episode podcast form. All right. I hope you guys are going to have a lovely, lovely, lovely day. Even though things are crappy, you got to decide to be happy no matter what. There's like stories I've seen before of like people who are like in camps and stuff, and in the Germany and all that kind of stuff, and they were captured. And there's a story about one guy who was like, everything was so deplorable and horrible, but he was able to sit there and be in silent and just feel freedom and feel joy. Even though the conditions were horrendous, he was able to go within himself and bypass that and keep his spirits up no matter what. And this is kind of what we're aiming for here, guys. I know it's asked backwards, but you got to feel it first and then it comes. So have an awesome day. Go find your power. Remember your power. Remember, you are powerful. This is really important. If you're still listening, you're meant to hear that message. All right. Go read the blogs. Go to elevate.hersoul on Instagram, go to elevatehersoul.com, go to the blog, go read everything and see what's going to come next, and take a screenshot when you see something happen. Send it to me. You guys are awesome. All right. Have an awesome, awesome day. See you later.